13-6 to 14-18 inaccuracy not helping the Maggies. Cloak, a very good player, having a very good season. Swan, the same can be said. And Rockcliffe is a good young boy. As the Supercoach points, there they are. And Darren Jolly has been good enough to come in on the Sunday Footy Show and join us, Daz. Very nice football being played by your club at the moment. Brisbane, I imagine, at stages in this game were better than you thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I suppose we knew coming into the game that they've had some really good patches in games this year, and it was always going to be a tough game. And to their credit, they played really well and certainly fought it out right to the end.
Can I ask you quickly about Leuenberger, because so much is being said about the young brigade of ruckman coming through the competition. He's at the front of that queue, and lots of good footy fans good footy watchers are saying he's going to be the best in the caper.
Oh yeah, he's going to have a fantastic career. His ability to obviously get the ball and follow up, and his athleticism is fantastic. So he's got a long career ahead of him.
They really matched with intensity in the first quarter. They won the contested footy and they out-tackled you 23-10. Or was it just you're a little bit off? What did Mick say at quarter time? Because we saw him with Simon Buckley obviously before. He didn't look happy. Yeah,
you did see that. Look, there was a few things. We probably didn't start as well as we should have. We had an influx of younger players coming in, and I suppose getting the start off that we needed to wasn't there. But once we turned it around, I think we had a really good second and third quarter and fell asleep in the last. So we'll address that through this week.
You've got so many good players to come back in. I mean, 7 players who Dermot said would walk into a premiership side. But yeah, you got Tom Young who played well last night, for Solo doing really well. Is it a case of Mick Malthouse is going to play those guys if they keep playing well, or are they going to make way for somebody to come back in like a Heath Shaw and Nick Maxwell?
I think you'll find, unfortunately, with the level of players we've got to come back, some will have to make way, but it's probably a good experience to give them games, and give them a taste of what it takes, and just in case we get a big flux of injuries that we need to call them.
19% goal conversion last night. You had 71 inside 50s, which is a massive amount. So got out to a 48-point lead, and you should have won this game by a lot more. The Lions kicked 7 in the last quarter, but it's something that needs to be addressed before the finals. You haven't been a side over even the last 3 years who have kicked accurately at goal, and then again last night I think it was 14-18.
Yeah, well, we know we're getting it in there enough times, and we're giving ourselves plenty of opportunity. It's just we're just falling away in some areas, and certainly kicking points is something that we love to do quite often this year.
We're going to see a young boy come up in a second. I want to ask you about him for Solo. Now, back in the 20-something years ago, there was a young bloke who came up in the one season, and it was a back-to-back premiership season for Essendon. His name was Mark Harvey. Played in the forward line, and he had great skills, he had real courage, he could take a mark for a smaller-sized player. Can Fasolo, if the team stays fully fit and you get a full line-up together, can he hold his place?
Look, I suppose you could say he'd be a wild card, I reckon, coming into finals. He's certainly proven that he can play, and he's up to the level that we need him to be. And I suppose it just comes down to the guys, the guys that are coming back, whether he can hold his spot. It's a great opportunity that Mick's in. Well, I suppose a good scenario that we're in, that we have the list and the depth that we can make those decisions. But he's certainly done his spot for the team.
Yeah, he's been playing well. What's your mantra? I mean, you come out, you've lost, one game for the year, and you're expected to win these games. What's your yardstick, your measuring application to come out in the ground and say, we do this right, we win again?
Oh, look, we know, at this end of the season, we know we've made the finals and all that stuff. It's more about, I suppose, focusing on what we need to do and making sure making sure our setups are right, our stoppages are spot on, our box formation's spot on, knowing that when we come into finals, that has to be, perfect for us to continue on. So we're using the next few weeks to really hone on those skills and making sure that every player is across everything we're doing.
Did you take Brisbane a little bit easy last night? Because Leon Davis, we spoke to him before the game, and he couldn't exactly tell us what injury he had. He said his calf, then he said his groin, then he said his ankle. Chris Tarrant started forward with a little bit of an experiment, didn't do too well, went back to the back line. Was it almost a case of they jumped you because you weren't ready for him last night?
Look, probably. Look, there was probably a combination of a few things, but Taz going forward with Dawsey out, we tried to put Keithy back. That really didn't work, so we went back to what we knew, and I think after half time, the third quarter especially, we really turned it around and played some good footy, and as I said, probably left let the foot off the pedal too much in the last quarter.
Your ruck work was... Sorry, Bill,
Trav Cloke's certainly a key, isn't he, Brownie and Darren, because 14 grabs again last night, just too big, too strong.
Played on young McKeever last night. I thought young McKeever did a really good job, young Irish boy for Brisbane, but just as the game went on, Travis Cloke's work rate and his body strength really showed out. But like I said, McKeever did a really good job. Got a really good rapport with Dane Swan in the middle. I watched last night. I think it was about 14 hit-outs to advantage to yourself, one to Brisbane. And we spoke about how good Leuenberger was dropping back into the hole. But I don't want to blow wind up you too much, but your ruck work was outstanding last night.
Yeah, look, it's just something that I make sure that, if I get my hand on one, I want to make sure that I give it to one of our guys. And the synergy that we have in the midfield group is really good at the moment, and hopefully can keep going.
Against Leuenberger, were you more comfortable the boundary line throw in than the centre bounce?
Yeah, look, I knew he's a big jump, and most of those young guys are. So I
suppose you get your turn, don't you?
Exactly.
You were once a jumper as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So you got to play it to your advantage, and I'd like to body him up and stop him jumping.
Yeah. I know you're giving a few guys a little bit of a rest going into the finals. That makes sense. Scotty Pendlebury's played all year. He's such a great player. Is he likely to have a rest the next couple of weeks, or you don't talk about how you're going to manage the list?
Oh, look, we don't really talk about that as players. That's up to the match committee. Look, Scotty's had a fantastic year, and I think I'm sure once we're coming closer to the finals, he'll probably want to keep going. So we'll leave that up to Mick to decide.
How fit are you, Darren? We hear a lot of stories about that knee, and you seem to be running around pretty well. How fit would you be?
Yeah, I'm 100%. Knee's perfect. I only had to tape it for a couple of weeks in a row there, but I don't tape it anymore. So it's back to where it was.
Brisbane Lions 7 goals to 2 in the last quarter. Did a really good job, and you've beaten sides outside the top 8 by an average of 81 points, so 18 points. Brisbane Lions did a really good job, but after the game, Luke Ball brought you in on the ground. We're going to see some vision. What did he actually say to you directly after the game? Because it was quite interesting.
Yeah, look, he just said, let's take the win, but let's not kid ourselves. If it was a top-notch side, they would have blown us away in the last quarter. I think we might have conceded, 7 goals to Brisbane in the last quarter, which is not us, and that's something that Mick spoke about after the game, and we'll make sure that we address and don't let that happen again.
Well, I'm going to give you another tickle here because I want to talk about Dane Swan and the way you play with Dane Swan. I watched him last night. Have a look at these taps. The way Dane Swan goes at a stoppage, I know that the other ruckman might have got that one, but he stands off a stoppage, Dane Swan, and he hits it flat out. Not many players do this. A lot of players are flat-footed at stoppages. So Dane Swan, actually, he's always on the move at stoppages, and he gets the ball where he's got a position where he can run off. And I watched him last night a few times. He wouldn't actually run until the ball was in an area, and then he would absolutely gut run. Look at all the space that he's got behind him here. He knows where all the space is. He leans on Andrew Rains, and then you'll tap out to him to that space. It's just really good.
Gets it back for 3 more in that passage.
To have a ruckman to be able to do that, and I know I've been pumping you up, obviously, because you're in here, but the Collingwood midfielders must be pretty pumped with the way you put it down the throat.
Yeah. Very awkward in here.
I feel like evening it out. What are you really bad at?
No, as I said before, we've worked hard over our setups and structures throughout the pre-season, and we've got really good synergy with the guys that come in, and not just with Swanee and I suppose Pendles, but with the younger guys, Blair and Steele, who can come in and fill those roles as well.
Since coming to Collingwood from Sydney, has it blown you away by how good this side was? Surely you knew that they were going to have an opportunity to make finals, but did you really understand how good this side was going to get to?
Yeah, I did actually. I did. Looking at the list when we were deciding, if we could come to Collingwood, we knew that. How young the players were and the level that they were playing at, and taking the next step was exciting. And as I said, last year was fantastic, and hopefully we can do another one this year, and the next few years to come will be as exciting as well.
Now, I was pumping you up so much because you didn't get a vote. But Dane Swan was 8, Travis Cloke was 8, Red Knight thought was outstanding with 7, and Dane Boom, since coming back, is averaging about 30 touches, 2 goals a game. So some very good players for the Pies.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Always good to see Darren Jolly on any of the footy shows. In fact, it's my understanding, Bill, that instead of coming here today, Daz wandered over to the other place where we do the Thursday night footy show.
No one there, mate.
Knocked on the gates and no one let me in.
Then he went to the other mob too, I think, and they said, no, you're not on here.
No.
And Darren, all good down there, mate. Eddie wasn't happy, was he? Mick wasn't happy?
Oh, he had his moments last night, but overall he was pretty happy with the win, I suppose.
You happy with it? Young boys there?
Yeah, there was a few young boys that good experience for them.
And the Red Nut. Oh, we spoke about him, I know, but we love that redhead, Tommy Young.
Yeah, he went all right last night. He copped a few sprays from Mick in the end, though, but no, he played well.
Righto.
Move the target.
Spud's up first. Here we go. Quarter final. Here we go.
Come on, Spud.
7. Good call. Oh! 17. 24. 31.
Come on, Darren.
31. One to come.
7.
38. Righto.
Nice start.
Dazzling.
Here goes Big Dazzler.
Bobby. Oh!
That should be 8.5.
7.
Go a bit harder.
14. Hitting it beautiful. 21. 31. I tell you what, it was a mirror. It was a mirror.
Driving the target back, Dazzy's hitting them that hard.
It's 38
All right.
apiece.
Oh, here we go then. She's tight, Bill.
7. Tight.
Thank you.
52.
7.
59.
Gentle on the left.
Oh, no.
64 right. 74. Oh, it's a humdinger.
Oh, she's tight,
It's a
Bill.
beauty. Yes, Jim.
Oh,
On the line, 7. 7.
Is, hang on. Get out, Brownie.
7.
21 is 59.
7.
Hang
Stop
on.
the clock.
66,
Oh.
I reckon.
Gonna need a
60. Oh,
big
he
finish
needs an
here.
8.
Needs a tenner.
No, the bullseye.
Need a bullseye here,
Just
Dazzler.
stop him. He was on a roll.
Oh,
7.
Choked.
21. The
Tell you
Spud.
what,
Oh,
we're down to the really good part of the season, Bill.
Well done.
Where we
Yes,
get
and
high quality handballing. And
Spud.
it's about $500 and into the semi.
They can go towards a wedding.
Can easily.
Yes.
That'll get you a couple of rosettes. 250, of course, for Dazzling Jolly, courtesy of Dual Lux Weather Shield. You know those flower arrangements?
Oh, the light.